the shared vision of high expectations. That has always been my philosophy. I have high expectations for myself, I have high expectations for my staff, and I always did for my students. And I think Mr. Meta says your vision can never exceed your expectations. And so I was real pleased to see this. Also, the use of data. And we have just really, this year we have embraced it, been part of the high school leadership team and analyzing. And last year we kept our own spreadsheets, and we collaborated closely with the high school and the education recovery team, and kept up with that. And even this year, all of them, they know where their students stand with college and career readiness, and we've been meeting with them individually and saying, here you are, this is what we need to do, let's set goals. So I was real pleased to see 100% with that. Also, the teachers in leadership roles, they felt they had the autonomy and were encouraged to take leadership roles, and I was real pleased with this. Also, with professional development, we have been very, very fortunate in the money up to this point. It's getting less and less, of course, with our state funding for professional development. And of course, coming from business and industry, all my teachers not only have to have the educational, continuing education required, but they also have to have the CEUs or whatever to stay current with business and industry. I keep my nursing license current. Hopefully we'll not go back to that, but I still, do my hours in that. Electrical teacher, he has to keep his electrical contractor's license up. So not only do they do those 24 required hours, but they also do their technical upgrades in their areas to stay current as well. So we were pleased with that. The fifth strength they felt was that leadership addresses their concerns regarding practice, facilities, time, and all of that. And that pleased me. I do try to listen. I try to do what I can within my power. Sometimes we're just limited. Okay, there were areas that we do have, and I like to say opportunities to improve. I don't like to say negative. We do have an overwhelming amount of paperwork. I came from a healthcare background. All the time I felt I could not be a quality nurse because I was shuffling papers. Well, when I started as a teacher 18 years ago, I made the same comment. I said, teaching's going to be like nursing. I cannot be as effective because I'm shuffling papers, but we know documentation is vital. And my teachers do have an overwhelming responsibility in program assessment. I equate it to program review. I had 686 pages of documentation the last year that I taught for program assessment. So they do spend a lot of times, and when Mr. Quillen said the 5 hours, I leaned over to Will and I said, if my teachers are the 5, I would say, some of them put in 100 hours a week. I kid you not, getting ready for program assessment. Okay, the other thing, the non-instructional time they felt was insufficient to meet with and collaborate with their colleagues. They do have common planning. We have the one planning time. I do meet with my teachers every morning. We do our own little PLC from about 7:40 until students get there at about 8 or 8:05. It's not enough, but we do the best we can within that period of time. Evaluation. Now, this is where I think this just followed summative evaluation, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to, or maybe the second formative. But anyway, they felt that it was not objective and consistent. And I think that would have been too, that guy. Like I said, I can tell by the percentages how many. And I'm just thinking, okay, we gotta make that. Class assignments. They felt that where we are putting our students sometimes does not maximize their success. We are struggling, and I'll tell you how we discussed. And by the way, as they produced it, they helped analyze it too. We did this as a collaborative effort. I didn't sit down. I said, okay, everybody, you all own it. Let's analyze it. Let's see what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, and let's come up with an action plan of how we're going to improve it. So this is, like I said, this is mainly coming from my staff on our areas, how we can improve. Two, with the high school now, you know, farther away from us, we are struggling with lost instructional time. We have tried to maximize it every way possible, but in a longest period, it's about 45 minutes. So that has been a real struggle for us, and I'll share with you some things that we are doing to try to maximize that time. All right, those are our weaknesses, so let's talk about some strategies for improvement. In regard to our overwhelming paperwork, we know it's there, it's not going to go away. So I have made a commitment as an administrator to adhere to time. Now, I have no problem with timelines. However, I tend to let others slip by. So we discussed this. They do, for doing their program assessment, they have a timeline, month by month by month. I haven't been consistent in saying I need this from you. And, you know, there's always procrastination that goes on, and then it's almost overwhelming to do it last minute. You know, you just cannot do it. So we've talked, and I said, you know, we know we have to have those advisory committee meetings. I know, you have to give me agendas, you have to give me minutes. I have to have implementation and impact checks on your program improvement plan, and I said, before anyone can go anywhere for the summer, I need that paperwork, even though, it's not fun to do. So anyway, that's hopefully will help that. Okay, and then another thing to maximize our time, Anita and I have tried to, in every way possible, minimize the classroom disruptions. We have screen calls, we have asked teachers, okay, who do you want us to interrupt your class for, who do you not? And we try not to interrupt their class unless it's an absolute emergency. As far as the objectivity of the teacher evaluation system, I'm hoping next year the ATCs will be piloting the new teacher professional growth and effectiveness system. And my understanding is, if I have not done the training yet, but if you are doing your job, it's wonderful. But if you are not doing your job, then it's definitely going to identify those areas. So hopefully that will help everyone feel that I'm being more objective. Also, in regard to class assignments, making sure kids are aware that they can perform at their very highest. I feel like the implementation of the ILP will help us. Earlier this afternoon, I did a webinar training on the new ability profiler that's in the ILP. It's another layer that kids they can look at their career interests, but then they can do the ability profiler and see if they have the strengths that they need in order to be successful in that career and what areas that they need to work on. And we are making plans to implement it to the fullest. The middle schools are doing a wonderful job, I think, getting kids on track early, and we just need to be able to carry them through high school and on into post-secondary till they are on that career pathway. Also, another thing, our last strategy that we looked at in regard to maximizing the likelihood of success of students, we have some very difficult classes. We have classes that offer dual credit. Mrs. Hunt this year is teaching a personal finance class that gives Gen Ed, 3 hours of Gen Ed credit, dual credit through Murray State. And also she has CIS 101 through the early college program at Moorhead. The CIS is 5th period. That's her shortest period. I think she said something like 38 minutes. She said, Martha, I can't teach a college class in 38 minutes. So she and I and Ms. Harless have collaborated some, and I think next year we're going to look at blocking those two classes. And students would come away with 6 hours of college credit from them. But they are challenging classes, and she does need to maximize her time in order to to teach those effectively. Any questions?